Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Work-Life Balance. My name is Danny Estrella and I'll be showing you and walking you through a couple of events that I did in a matter of a week. We start off with this one across the states, so check it out. So we start things off by taking off and heading into Colorado. We went to Colorado with Dame and John and did a college event. So when we do these events, a lot of pretty unpredictable setups, and this particular one didn't have a place exactly for me to be. They had, a sound system, a video system, but backstage. And I created a little desk for myself right by the bleachers, which was pretty fun. Sometimes you got to get the job done and try to do it right and not affect the production. So there we are. And then from there, we went to grab some food and had the awesome opportunity of watching Damon on Masked Singer, on his episode where he was on Masked, which was pretty fun. A lot of cool privileges and opportunities that I get traveling with a celebrity. So that's a good time. The place was Illegal Burger. They gave us the whole restaurant to watch this episode, and they hung out with us, which was nice. Had some shakes and really kicking it. A lot of people ask me, how is he? How is he, on the road? And he's just a regular dude, really awesome and really genuine, very generous. And from there, I woke up the next morning, jumped on a plane to Miami and went through the airport, landed in Miami, took another plane to the Bahamas and was on my way to Baha Mar. Baha Mar is a property and a resort that I'm very familiar with. Shout out to my man Keith. Keith, if you're watching, thank you for always hooking it up. And got settled, went to meet with the bride and groom. They had a welcome reception the night before their wedding. So I did the walkthrough there, wanted to make sure everything was in place and made sure that it all made sense, because sometimes when you go to a destination wedding or an event outside of the tri-state area, you want to make sure that you can produce and do something that you would normally do at home. And people, were booking me for that. So as you see, we got the party going and I got a really good feel of what the wedding was gonna be like. So I tested out some music, and then the next day was ready for the day. It started out really beautiful, went for a run, got a little scenery with the beach, and had some tacos on the boardwalk right there. If you've ever been to Baha Mar, it's really beautiful. They have a water park, they have all these huge things, but the grounds lead up to this one little lawn space where they put this tent. Really cool space. I went to go and take a look at it, and that's where the actual reception was. Then of course I had to walk through the water park and really get acclimated with the rest of the resort. There was a space for the ceremony across the way, and that's where this little chapel shot is. The AV team I'm very familiar with, again, doing events there. They supplied a handheld microphone, a mixer, and all these other cool components. I actually put a link at the bottom so you can see a lot of the components that were used. I have them as well. It's always good to be familiar with a lot of these things, whether it's a mixer, a mic mixer, or self-powered speakers, just so you know the ins and outs of it. I also brought my own mic, which I travel with, a big plus. They had a handheld mic there, but the officiant needed hands-free. They didn't have a stand, so I said, hey, don't worry about it, I'm gonna plug my stuff in. So I had a microphone with a lavalier, and that also came into play very well for everybody else to hear the bride and groom. So I plugged mine in, so now we had two mics, and we were able to use two mics that day. Again, super helpful because I was able to get everybody seated, I was able to tell everybody to stand, and make sure that this ceremony went without any flaws. You'll notice that it was all the way in one corner of the room. My wireless mic was very capable, more than enough space to run it, even up to 300 feet. It's a really dope mic. I definitely recommend you guys get something like this. And there you see the ceremony, very pretty, memorable. They had a great time. It did start to rain, so we went to the reception, and you'll see right there, there's a puddle that's forming right under the DJ booth. For anybody who's familiar with electronics, obviously, water does not mix well with electronics, so I got a bunch of towels together and I literally was drying every inch that I could. It stopped raining, so I was hoping that the water was gone. For the most part, it was good, and then the party started, and then the rain started again. So we still raged and partied, and it was drizzling, it was raining heavy, it was drizzling, whatever. Nobody was fazed by it until the water started pouring in. The tent company set up the tent over the dance floor. We were still kind of going with it. As you see right there, that guy was the nephew from the bride's side, and we were partying with him. He was controlling the camera, and then she came back there and she was all happy, so it was cool. It was very fun. Unfortunately, the rain stopped the party on the tent, so then we took it back to that same space where the welcome reception is. You'll see some people there raging. Actually, the guy who took this video, I did his wedding, and the person who you saw raging right there was somebody that I know from home. So I knew a lot of people in the guests count, in the audience per se. From right there immediately, I went to my room, got up about an hour later, and was dressed and ready to go to another wedding. This wedding happened to be in Jersey, so I got on a plane. I actually missed my first connection, and I had a backup flight ready to go. If you're traveling, always look for a backup flight. Got to Jersey, and thankfully I had an awesome crew. My guys are pretty responsible and capable and are familiar with the equipment that we use, so they set it up. I walked in, plugged and played, rocked the party. Bride and groom wanted to hear a little Cupid Shuffle, so we played that. As you see, they had a good time. We added some TVs to it. The venue had some lighting. We added some more of our lighting, and there you have it. 3 events, one out of the country, one across the country, and one back to the tri-state area where I'm from. A lot of cool stuff happens like this, where you'll see more episodes, even heavier than this. This past weekend that I traveled, I was in 5 different cities in 4 days. So you'll get to see that probably in another episode. So stay tuned. If you haven't subscribed already, please be sure to subscribe, and hit some comments and hit the notification bell too, so that way you know when the next videos are released. Thanks again. This is Danny Estrella, and I am out.